From the floor of the CME Group, this is Danny Riley on this Monday, June 28th. You know what, the markets are quiet and we're totally in summer mode here. All the markets throughout the floor are quiet. We just gave a tour of a trader that came in for the Option Monsters seminar they held over at the Swiss Hotel, and the only thing that we could really take away from it is that there's very little trade going on here. It's not just in the indices, it's over in the currencies, it's over in the interest rates, and it's over in the grain room. Well, actually the grain room is a little busy compared to what we normally see. But as far as what's going on here today, statistically, Mutual Fund Monday has been up 33 out of the last 41 occasions. But in addition to that, HL Camp had today as a 66% up day with a high coming in at about 225 in the afternoon. Now, our equity report came out a little screwed up today because I deleted it by accident. But most of the stuff that we talked about was that today we thought would be an up day. Now, we had this early down move, and then we had this nice little bounce back up. And the way it feels to us is the slower it gets, the more it's going to favor the upside here. And the other part about this is that the market on the short term is a little bit oversold. We are up against some support levels down toward the 1050 level. And you know what? It feels like we're going to go a little higher here in the afternoon. We have a very, very good set of buy stops begin above the 1077.5 level up to about the 1085 level, which on the way the charts look comes in exactly where the resistance is, right around the 1085 level. Now, in addition to this stuff, some of the things that we're going to be looking at, is the unemployment figure. Look at we're coming into the end of the month and we're coming into the end of the quarter, and this is going to be an important. There's some important stats that I want to read out to you. The Monday before the unemployment figure has been up 66% of the time, with a high coming in at 225, like I said. The last day of the quarter, Wednesday, has been down 13 out of the last 18 occasions. So you know what? We may have a little bit more of this downside stuff, but then as we go into the beginning of the new month, or the new quarter, July actually is a very, very good month for stocks. It's not so good for the NASDAQ, but it's better for the Dow, better for the S&P, and we kind of think over the next couple of days we may see a little bit of a reversal back up. Now, as far as the long-term picture for the S&P, we have to kind of tell you, we're not so optimistic. You know, what we need to see here, we need to see a couple of days of back and filling at a good support level, and then we need one of those old things like we talk about, that it takes days and weeks to knock the market down and only one to bring them back. Well, you know what? We haven't had any of those days where they brought the market back very much. It's been constantly down. I think out of the last 6 days, we've been down 4 out of the last 6 days, but one of the up days was only up modestly. I think it was up only 2.5 or 3 handles. So, you know what? We are in this downtrend, and it's a little disconcerting. You know, the markets have had very little bounce. We had this big rally up above 1220 or whatever that high was. Then we've had this sell-off down to the 1041 level, 1036.75 in Globex. But you know what? It was a good rally, but the sell-off was a lot more heavy. It really looked like the power mechanics were behind this. That, you know, the people knew going into the end of the quarter that the market was a little too long. They started to take some profits. In came all these sell programs that we've seen over the last couple of weeks, and it's really, really made the market look bad. Now, you know, that's what's supposed to happen here. If you're a contrarian trader, you look to buy this weakness and you look to sell that strength. But you know what? It's hard to get hang your hat on anything here. Right now in the S&P pit, we've only got about 25 locals, and we've got about 1.1 million minis traded. And if you take out the 270 minis traded before the open, we're somewhere around, you know, 770 minis, something like that, 800,000 minis. That's not very good, and that's very much indicative of what the summer markets could look like. Also, for those guys that trade the big S&P, you know, we've been tracking volume for years, and we know exactly what this looks like. This looks like about a 9 or a 10,000 volume day in the S&P pit, and that doesn't give these guys a lot of meat to eat off the bone. As far as the rest of the day, like we said, we're not sure, but we do think that if the market catches a bid above 77.5, it's a good possibility we'll see the 85 level. On the other side of this coin, we start breaking down through yesterday's lows. You know, we've still got that level down at 1050, which is a critical support level, psychologically critical support level that people are going to be looking at. And if it breaks down there, I'm thinking, or the desk is thinking like 980 on the downside. Forget 10 even. There's so many stops down there. We think we'll go blowing right through there. Now, last but not least, we're out here promoting the new Drake and Capital Futures Monster, Stock Monster. We've got we've had a lot of people sign up for it over the last week and a half. And Option Monster, Mike over at the .com guys, Craig and Mike, have not even officially launched the product. We think it's important. And over the weekend, we had an opportunity to go to the cocktail party at Option Monster, and I got to express why I think it's important. If you're trading the S&P 500, or you're trading the SPX, or you're trading the OEX, or you're trading any options that are related to these indexes, this is where it all comes through. It was blamed for the 87 crash. Recently, it was blamed for that big down move we had on May 6th, but you know what? This is the tail that wags the dog, and that's what we're going to continue to tell the folks that listen to us. It all has to start somewhere, and we think it starts here in the S&P 500. So stay tuned. Pick us up on Futures Monster, and you can get a 2 free week trial. If you like it, stay with us. If you don't, adios. We'll see you tomorrow.